And I'm gonna be honest, I know what mostly my subscribers are, and most of my subscribers, you guys will understand. I am raising 2 black boys in this world. And one thing that they cannot afford to be is hot-headed. They have to be level-headed, because people are gonna come and they're gonna mess with them, and they're gonna poke and they're gonna pry, and they have to keep their wits about themselves, and they cannot go off of emotion. They just cannot. Hey, Freya. All that snow. Don't mind the snow. I really wish the snow would hang around for Christmas. We're super cold today. We're like 20-some degrees. Yesterday, the degree was Fahrenheit. It was like 7, with a real feel like -10. I don't know, it was super cold. But in a few days, we're gonna be in the 40s. And I didn't even look to see what they're saying for Christmas. So we had all this snow for us to possibly another year in the Chicagoland area not have white Christmas. It is what it is. But I want to do some things that I have postponed for a while, which is reorganizing my seeds that I collected over the past gardening season. I put them in this box. See, I don't want to tilt it, but I have them in this box. The box my sister gave me. It has some stuff in it. Let's see. And I didn't label everything. I don't remember what everything is. I'm gonna have to Google. Oh no! And I hear I'm making a mess. Oh. No, Kim, stop it. Kim, what are you doing? That's that mess. At least I know what that was. Now, I got this from Fran. What is this? Is it a cone flower? Okay, these are zinnias. And I'm just gonna put 2025. And I'm gonna put from Fran. His zinnias, I don't even think I have a picture, were so gorgeous, but I had let them dry out. And if you pull the petal, you can see, let's see, what they do. The seeds at the end, hopefully, I don't know. So I'm gonna harvest these. I wonder if I could just kind of crush them up to separate them. But his zinnias were gorgeous this year.
Boys understood, they agreed, they said they were fine with one another, and you know, we just reiterated, if this becomes an issue, come see an adult, tell an adult before talking to each other.
Yeah.
So I think they had that understanding, but I just wanted to let you know that both boys will be serving a after school with me tomorrow, an after school detention.
I recorded some of my son's school call, Xavier, and I know I'm talking, you can't see my face, you're looking at my hands, but sorry. He has a temper, and he always gets in trouble because he usually, I would say 95% of the time, does not start the fight. But 100% of the time, he's gonna finish it. And once he gets upset, it's hard to calm him down. And he has one issue with the little boy in school. But this little boy is just messing with Xavier, and a lot of it started because in 6th grade, 7th grade, Xavier was small. He was small. And people thought it was okay to mess with him, especially because they know that he has a temper. And they're still messing with him. Xavier went to a dance, and this little boy decided that he was going to splash water on him, and of course Xavier got upset. but they were able to stop him from fighting, even though he has fought the kid before. So anyways, me talking to the school about that situation, and I'm actually not caring for how they're handling it, because it's like they talk about bullying and all this. You know, when we teach our kids, if someone's messing with you, you finish it. And I don't know. It's like I don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do at this moment. But anyway, as I was talking to his school, I was just decided to separate these seeds. So I did most of them. So these were zinnias. So this is what I got for next year. All right, next up is this flower. This also came from Friend's Garden. I want to say this is the coneflower because I could have swore dahlia. No. Oh. See, and this is what happens when you don't label and you don't go off of trust me, bro. Okay, I can see this being a dahlia. Let me call my friend real quick. So dahlias. And I think I only got like 10 minutes before I gotta go. But that's the tip of that one. So I gotta go through just like I did with the zinnias. Pull it out and separate. I ordered these from Amazon. You can write on the back what things are. That seemed to go better. So these are dahlias. 2025. I'm going to say from Friend. See if I can grab. And then separate. So let's see, what else can I yap about? I can yap about my family child. Now on my side, while I'm doing this, just listen to me yap, because I feel like some of the things that I'm talking about, y'all will understand. So my father's side of the family, I'm a little bit estranged from them, I would say, because growing up I never quite felt wanted by them, because you know how family trees are. You know, they always talk about our generation or the new generation being fast, but no, them older generations, baby, were fast. And so my grandfather had my dad and my aunt, and then went ahead and he didn't stay with my grandmother, but had children with another woman. They never married. And so you have that line, and she already had kids from somebody else. So you got that line. And, you know, they were out in the city. I'm out in the suburbs. And there was never really a connection there. I didn't really feel connected to anyone. When I would go to family gatherings, I was always by myself. And it didn't help. I was already shy. I had my group of cousins that I did like to hang with. But it just seemed like when they got around everybody else, then they forgot who I even was. Which is fine. Which, you know, now I'm just the way that I am with people, and I don't rely on anyone, and I'm okay being by myself. But with this past family reunion for my family, I was like, you know what? The shirts didn't even like recognize my side. And even though we may not have the same grandmother, we still share the same grandfather, and we still have the same last name. And so an opportunity arose where they were trying to get more input, because now my generation, I'm the youngest out of the first cousins, you know, our kids don't know each other. And I can't find myself to complain about how things are going if I'm not willing to step outside of my comfort zone and decide to step up and be a part of a planning committee for a reunion. So I, you know, said I would, you know, be in the talks with it, but it's some mess going on even with that. with other people that want to plan and be in control of it. And so I'm kind of like, do I want to be a part of it? I don't know, but we'll see. But I felt a little hurt because the last family reunion I at least knew anything about was in 2014. I found out last night that they've been having them every other year since 2014. Didn't know nothing about it. This was the first one I heard about in 2025. So they've been having family reunions all this time, and I did not know one thing about it. And sometimes it hurts a little bit because some of the people that I know were there, I actually talk to every now and then. But am I surprised? No, because also they have cousin parties, where all the cousins get together and party. Was I ever invited? Absolutely not. Saw it on Facebook, but then they try to act like, oh, I just didn't show up. No, you didn't tell me. You didn't even give me a chance to say whether or not I was going to show up. So me, trying to step up and do things with my family, I found out how much I've been left out of the loop of things, and it hurt a little bit. It really did. To know that all these family reunions have been going on for the last 9 years and I didn't know nothing about it. So, and I'm trying, y'all, I am trying to not let that bother me. But as I'm sure you can tell, it does. I would say one thing about my family. I don't really like fakeness. And if they don't mess with you, they'll let you know. Either they'll let you know verbally or by their actions. They're not going to be fake with you, not like that. I appreciate that because I'd rather know where somebody coming from up jump instead of someone being fake in my face and talking about me behind my back. But it is what it is. So I don't know what you think, y'all. Should I just continue to try to be the bigger adult and do this? I don't know. But that information kind of hurt a little bit. All right. That's enough from the Dolly. I wanted to jump on here real quick because in the course of me, this video, I don't know why it's been so hard for me to get out. Like, it was supposed to come out on Monday. I didn't finish recording. It was just, thing. But I did want to hop on here because in the course of me talking about what I'm talking about with my family, I have made connections with other family members that kind of feel the same way that I do. Like I ran into him when I went to the hospital with Boo, one of my cousins. She works there. She was actually there when my mom was there. They saw each other. But anyway, so we talked, we made a connection. Then I have another cousin in North Carolina that we talked, and we made a connection when I did go to this past family reunion. And and I have aunts and I have uncles and things like that I talk to, and cousins. So I'm going to say, when I say my family, I'm going to say that side as a whole, but that excludes some people because some of us are trying. And, I've talked to my brother, to my sister, to my mom, to my friends about the situation, and, to some of my cousins about some of the things, but they don't know everything that I feel. And I'm at the point where I'm happy if my kids at least know some of their cousins. They don't need to know everybody. They just need to know some. And I'm good with that, and let the rest be what it be. Maybe I'll do another video, but one of my cousins I know, colorism in the Black community is a thing. And she's one of the darker skinned family members, from that side. And I know that she went through some things growing up. And even on my side of the family, my cousins over here are actually darker. I probably am the lightest one. Me and my dad, we're probably the lightest one from our branch on the family tree, but everybody else is pretty much darker. But I do know that when they came to the merge with the side that I'm kind of having the issue with, colorism was a factor there too. And it doesn't have to be outright mean. It's just statements. It's just statements. And statements that could have been kept to themselves, you know? So, but anyway, I just wanted to hop on here and just mention, like, cousins, if y'all see that, you know who you are. We good. It's just the other side I'm talking about as a whole. Oh no, I forgot I still have all of this. Am I wrong for feeling the way I do? I don't know. And like the my side of the family that makes up this little offshoot, it's not very many of us left, like compared to everybody else. I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just gonna count the adults. 1, 7, 8. It's like 10 of us. And we basically, it seems like to a lot of them, we don't exist. That's my alarm to pick up my baby boy. All right, so we have the dahlias. All right. Now let me clean up this mess, and I'm gonna go pick up my baby boy. Pick up my baby boy, and then I'll pick this up when I get back. So, friend, it's a whole new day. Yeah, I ran out of time yesterday. Once my kids got out of school, I can't really record anything in the house. It's just not gonna happen. So let's finish off, or start where we finished off. If my hands look crazy, I was just trying to doodle around the house to do things that I know I needed to do. One of which was repairing some things that required contact cement, and of course I got all over my hands. And I know I could use acetone to get it off, but I didn't feel like doing that. So I used oil, soap, water, but you can still kind of see remnants on my hand. Anyway, we did the dahlia seeds. We did the zinnia seeds. Let's get this marigold out the way, because this has been sitting around just like this. So this is from my beautiful marigolds that grew huge this summer. It was one of the few plants that did grow nice. I actually have a few of those in this box, but they're different colors, and that's okay. So this one was the two-tone yellow and orange. They're good and dry. You see the seeds. I'm making a mess. I could just directly put them in here, you know. My mind, I'm a little scatterbrained. I don't even remember the type. I don't think it was African. I'm going to put yellow and orange for now, because I'm pretty sure the tag is still out there amongst the snow. This one I know came from my sis. So we're going to put that in there. Well, no, Kim, you're just messing up. Get it together. I wonder, grab it like this and break the head off like that. I think that's better. Yeah, that's much better. Much better. Yes, Kim, come and get your method. Every year my goal for planting is to buy less and less things from the garden center. That is my overall goal. I mean, I bought things last year, obviously. I know if I do the flashbacks, I bought things, but it wasn't nearly as much as it usually is. And Lord, I could never remember how to spell nasturtium. 2025 from Amazon. I got these seeds. Amazon bought seeds. As far as my nasturtiums are concerned, I saved some seeds, as you can see, but I actually just kept them in the ground. And some of the pots that had my nasturtiums in it are covered with the plastic, because you know I'm trying that greenhouse effect. Some of them are just covered with leaves. Now, ideally in my zone 5B, 6A-ish, because, you know, they changed and I'm kind of on that cusp. They're actually not perennials. They're only annuals. But hey, who knows? Something could happen. But I just kept a couple of those, not much. The next thing on my list that's in this box are a couple of seeds that I saved from my morning glories. Now, I saved a couple of those seeds. I actually decided to sprinkle those seeds on my back fence. And when I cut down the plant, I put the whole plant there. I know that morning glories can be invasive. I know this. But there was one area along my back fence that weeds were just running amok, and I just was over it. And so we'll see if, you know, the morning glories will take. I actually got these morning glories from Friend. I did plant morning glory seeds for my sister. She gave me some seeds not that long ago, and they took in that pot, but they didn't take again the following year. So I know off of my memory that these black seeds came from the morning glories. This was the seed, and this is another seed pot. Oh, there's another nasturtium seed. All right. So they look like this. The seed pods after the, where's the camera? There you go. After the flower is gone, it kind of looks like this. So if you open the seed pod, see they're in there. This, I don't remember. Oh, this was from a plant that I got from Menards. It was a clearance plant. Baby, it grew. It was okay even with being overcrowded. But I have no idea what this plant is. I probably should have took a picture of that seed head or the flower head before I took it. I'm going to label this unknown flower I got from Menards. Can't spell today. Clearance 2025. And more than likely, the label's still out there. I don't tend to get rid of the labels. So maybe I'll remember, like, hey, Kim, these are those seeds. Remember what they are? And matter of fact, I'll put the location. First raised garden bed. Look for tag. All right. Next up are the things that I actually did label. Banana peppers. All right, banana peppers. They did me good. These been dried out a very long time because I collected these at the, you know, for my first harvest and dried them on this paper towel. So, and those banana peppers, let's see, I actually bought from Menards and they did very well. Next up, I put yellow squash. Oh yeah, so this yellow squash was in my planter by my shade tent. And this came from Menards. I don't have a lot of them, but I have some. Next up are the seeds I saved from my purple bell peppers. And my hands are dirty from the dirt from the flower. What is this? I have no idea. I didn't label. Kim, what is this? What is this? Watermelon seeds. Maybe, but no, they're black. Child, what are these seeds that I collected? I don't know. We gonna get back to that one. And these, I know, were seeds from my loofah. I know these are loofah seeds. And there's like a clear casing on them. Mystery seed. That's all I had saved for seeds for this year. That's funny. So nasturtiums, the unknown flower I got from Menards, loofah seeds, purple bells, morning glories, yellow squash, banana peppers, marigolds, dahlias, and zinnias. So here are my definites for the 2026 season. Black cherry tomatoes and another variety of tomatoes. Sweet potatoes. Red, yellow, green, purple bell peppers. Banana peppers. Probably will get some jalapeno habaneros in there. Strawberries. Cucumbers. Yellow squash or summer squash. Broccoli, collard greens, cabbage. We're going to try that cabbage again. Spinach, kale, carrots, loofah, green onions, chives, my flowers, obviously, and and then my bushes that are out there, my blueberries, raspberry, my grape plant if it comes. Those are my definite. Fails, I'm not doing that Dollar Tree hack growing in Dollar Tree containers. I threw them things out. I threw them out. I'm not doing it again. I didn't really get much of a success out of those. It's just a waste. 3 years at the community garden. And 4 years here because I didn't do the community garden last year. So 4 years all together doing this gardening thing. I'm still learning. I still need to do better being organized. I still enjoy. I didn't get as fatigued as I did the previous years, but I was, by the fall, I was pretty much over it and just wanted it to be done with. I need to try to figure out how I can do better. Especially with the pests and the powdery mildew, I think that took a lot out of me. As far as the other things I was rambling on about, like with my family, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what I'm going to do about that situation. I also don't want to be in the middle of a mess. I have spent the last 40 some odd years staying away from the mess. I just don't know if I want to be in the mess. I don't know. I want my boys to know their cousins on that side, but I don't know. Like I said, you know, to find out that they were having family reunions and they weren't telling me, and just knowing that I really wasn't invited to the cousin meetups, and I don't know. That kind of takes the wind out of my sails. And I'm a big proponent on not subjecting my kids, you know, to anything. Like, if people don't want to mess with them, that's fine, because they just find where they at over here. And we have a lot of people that may not be their blood that love them, and we have also blood that loves them, you know. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. And Xavier, in his situation, that school's full of it. You know, they do this whole thing about bullying, and Xavier is not innocent. But this is one thing I do know about Xavier. Xavier doesn't start anything. He just finishes it. And I think I said that in my previous segment. He finishes it. And the manner that he finishes it, it puts a target on his back. It really does. And he needs to control himself. Unfortunately, the kids at that school knows how to push that button on him where he just loses it. and he gets bullied, he gets messed with. And there's one situation with this kid, they're frenemies, and I told him, you need to stop talking to him. You need to stop talking. Found out that it was one of the people in his friend group that was egging this on between him and this other kid. So that got aired out, and that hurt Xavier because he thought that was his friend. But I had already peeped it. I already, but your kids aren't going to listen to you. And I told him, I learned early I found out who my friends were and were not. And I suffered from wanting to be liked and all this other stuff. And when you do that, you put yourself in a situation that may not be completely healthy for you. And so I withdrew, just like I withdrew from my family. I can redraw. I can't. I'd rather be by myself in peace. And right now I would say I have one real good friend, Fran, and I have what I call my children, Xavier's godfather. When I was, working in the vet world, he was one of my employees. I've known him ever since he was in high school, and now he owns his own vet practice. Like, the people that I have in my life right now, I'm good with. I am good, and I need Xavier to know that he does not need to surround himself by a bunch of people because they all do not have his best interests at heart. The school, they keep telling me, oh, well, they talking to have to resolve. Well, when they said this last week, the boys still pushed Xavier's buttons after a dance. He sprayed water on him and his friend. Of course, Xavier, and his one real friend that, was there, he was trying to calm him down and let him know it's not worth it. But at the end of the day, you said they were squashed. No, it's not squashed. I know it's not going to be squashed. And they trying to tell me that again. No, it's not. And unfortunately, they said that even if this kid is the aggressor again, and Xavier reacts, they're both going to get suspended, which is crazy. There's no protection for those that are getting messed with, and if you fight back, then you're still going to get in trouble. And depending upon the situation with Xavier, I told him, if they put their hands on you and you have to protect yourself, whatever consequences you have to suffer at school, that's fine, but it ain't going to be any here. But Xavier has gotten to the point that he's letting words and certain actions affect him, and he just goes off, and he needs to be smarter than that. And some of this, I've noticed this boy messing with him and learning his history of the kids he's messing with. I will say there's a pattern to who he's choosing to mess with. That's what I'm going to say. And it's even turned into cyberbullying of, them talking about this on the internet. And Xavier doesn't even have social media. He has a TikTok that is on a family pairing account. So that cleared him for any of this. But these schools, I'm telling you, these schools do not really protect. They want to give this false narrative that they're protecting their children. No, they're not. But I gave Xavier, and I hope he listens to me, some tips to protect himself and let this other kid get in trouble, because I found out that he was messing with one of his friends. And the friend, he didn't fight this kid back. He immediately said, I'm going to go write an incident report. He did that, got the kid suspended. And I said, Xavier, you've been fighting this kid. You've been, all kinds of stuff with this kid, fighting back. And he's getting worse. You're getting in trouble. It's not working. You need to act like you got on some press charger sandals and start, walking away and just saying, I'm going to write an incident report. I told him, because he's got 2 classes, and I think a lot of this has been going on longer than it has because they're both in honors classes. Because if they weren't, no, I know that this whole thing with the school would have went differently. But no, and the minute he messes with you, because they got 2 classes together, you tell the teacher, I need to go write an incident report. They give you a hard time about not leaving class, you tell them your parents said, because if they still neglect from you being able to go and write your incident report after you said my parents said, then me and that school have an issue. He messes with you in the hallway, I don't care if you late to class, you go directly to that dean's office and you write an incident report. I said, stop trying to fight this kid, stop getting in verbal altercations, stop all of this, stop it right now and go. Because another thing I noticed, he was telling the teachers, but because Xavier is known to be a fighter, even though he's always fighting back, they blow him off. And they just view him as a hot-headed troublemaker instead of someone that's being poked and prodded. And I feel like these kids are trying to get him in trouble because Xavier will take it there. So I'm hoping that he's listening to me, and we talked about a whole lot of things I'm not even going to get into, but I hope he listens to me as far as how to handle this kid, because he'll be okay. But I told him, in this world, and I'm going to be honest, I know what mostly my subscribers are, and most of my subscribers, you guys will understand. I am raising 2 black boys in this world. And one thing that they cannot afford to be is hot-headed. They have to be level-headed, because people are going to come and they're going to mess with them, and they're going to poke and they're going to pry, and they have to keep their wits about themselves, and they cannot go off of emotion. They just cannot. And I told Xavier, you know, you're in the 8th grade now. You're going to go into the high school. It's going to be more kids there. It's going to be older kids there, and people are going to continue to test you. And you cannot lose your cool. You just can't, because when you get out into the real world, you cannot act that way, because it's going to have real world consequences. And me and their dad, we're trying our hardest, trying to get them to understand. Now, Chris, we don't really have this issue with Chris, and people mess with Chris, you know, and they call him a nerd and all this stuff, and it hurts his feelings. And Chris really reminds me of Sheldon. He doesn't have a lot of friends. He's starting to make some more now that he's in this challenge program, because he's around kids that are smart like him. But he's like, they talk about things I don't want to hear, and I want to play with other kids, but they're playing things I don't want to play, and it's silly, and I don't want to do it. I'd rather do what I want to do. And okay. And I told Chris, you know, that's actually a good attitude to have. You know, as long as you understand in elementary school, it might not get you many friends, but when you get into middle school and high school and you have that aloofness, like you don't want to be bothered, people are going to be drawn to you, whether or not you want them to be or not. That's what's going to happen. You know, worry about your school, don't worry about being liked. And that's where Chris is. And Xavier has always worried about being liked, always. And there is going to be a height difference, because Chris, he's 8. He wears a size 8.5 shoe. He's going to be tall. Like, he's, you know, people are going to try to test him because he is going to be so big. But I'm not worried about it. That's why he's in karate now. Xavier, he know how to fight. Xavier's record of wins and losses is impeccable. I think he only lost 1, and he's been in a lot of fights over the years. I can't even lie. But his record is impeccable. You wouldn't know it, that little skinny boy. He can throw hands, and unfortunately, he has a mouth on him. He don't know how to control that either. You would think that sweet little personable boy, yeah, him. But anyway, I rambled on enough. Thank you for this little vlog of seeds and rambling. And until next time, friends, bye. And maybe next time I'll, you know, take you around my house as far as my decorations that I have. I actually, outside of that one video where I showed what I got from the Dollar Tree, I didn't buy anything else this year. Money has been funny. So anyway, friends, thank you for tuning in. Until next time, bye.